this might be one of your makers.
Yeah, no, you mentioned that before, like the whole god situation. I'm not really as concerned with that, but what do you think it is? What do you want to call these guys?
I don't know yet. And for the time being, I think I will probably just call them precursors until
Okay.
I am more aware of their situation or their hierarchy and structure within and among them.
Yeah, no, now I don't want to sound like I looking to give tossing them out here. It's very interesting to find an ancient, vaguely humanoid alien here, but that is a degrees larger of a than we have seen before, which would lead me to believe that the thing that came out of him would be
Also larger.
exponentially larger than what we have previously encountered here. Yeah.
To many degrees, yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Yes.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that scientifically we're on the same page with the size of monsters that may or may not be in this forest. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. How do you think this guy got out? All right, buddy. I think I'm getting the clear picture here. I'm seeing. I zoomed out a little bit here. Okay. So alien man, right? That's what we're gonna precursor. This is. I think we can say obviously a precursor ship, right? This U-shaped ship. We don't design them that way, right? This is Wayland's ship here, right? The Prometheus. This ship came out of the ground. The reason I bring that up is it looks like settled dirt and the ship and the crash and this crash happened around the same time. Meaning that these are not exactly a precursor. Well, precursor in the sense that they came before us, but also he was alive. I mean, recently, relative to the Prometheus crash engine, right? And you said that something about his Wayland met his maker. I thought that might have been a turn of phrase, and I think it might have been a far more literal situation here. In that, I think Wayland and this precursor were both alive at the same time on this very planet here.
I think you might be right. And if not just alive, Barton, it makes me wonder if there was some sort of hypersleep tube for them, and if there may be more on their vessel, undisturbed.
Okay. All right. Well, today is getting. It's a day, Kitch. I don't know if this makes it worse or not. I'm thinking it does. There were 3 ships here on this planet. One U-shaped that has crashed here. One Prometheus that has crashed into the big U-shape. And if we look at everything over here, a secondary U-shaped ship was here. He's no longer here. And the disturbances in the ground indicate that it's roughly the same time as they were both shimmied out. So someone stole an alien ship and took off with it. So,
The only one, as far as I'm aware, was David.
Yeah. So here's what I'm wondering, right? So like Wayland, you mentioned that he was obsessed with meeting his maker, his creator, right? Assuming this gentleman here is the creator, and the Wayland and this man met each other, and that did not go well for either party, it would seem. And then
No, I'm afraid not.
something happened in that scenario to make David 1 go a little cuckoo bananas and want to start seeding aliens all over the galaxy. Did I string those thoughts together correctly in accordance with your timeline?
Still some missing details, but I think that's mostly right.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up, guy.
The dirt that you pulled from the ground seems to be contaminated heavily by what you can, without a doubt, tell based on the other research you've done over the last many, many months. It has been contaminated by the purest form of the biological agent that David was messing with. But it has seeped into in vast quantities, once you can tell, all of the soil, which may be why it was terraformed. That this biological agent changed the face of the planet from that point where it crashed outward. It seems like it was a hub of some kind, possibly a ship hub. But Kitchens, based on everything that maybe you share with one another and your knowledge of chemicals, ships docking at a place that holds biological chemicals like this probably means they were making biological weapons here. But it would be your computer that begins to run the scans of the walls that you brought in, the video. That returns very different information. Further analysis would show that it is telling some kind of story of a great people. This kind of image of them sending out dust into the stars or more stars into the stars. The rising of a smaller figure version of themselves. And then this haunting image of something that we know all too well. The computer runs an analysis on not just images, but dates and times now that you have them based on the rock. Just a little over 2,000 years ago, by world history knowledge, the man known as Jesus of Nazareth was crucified. He was said to be a healer, extremely smart and caring, and was idolized as something more than human, and we killed him. This facility would date to about the time as that happens, right afterwards, in fact. And the end of this story, carved out in ancient walls, shows a people going to war in great ships, in these vials that you've seen before, the biological weapon designed to kill off a species who denied their maker. For whatever reason, they never made it to Earth 2,000 years ago, but they were coming.
Arise, minions, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for the episode of Alien Genesis. This is our third and final season of this madness. And Dot hit us with Jesus wasn't an engineer last week, so that's where we're at. Yeah, it's a big shock for the show. If you guys like what we do here and you want to support the channel, the best way to do that is over on our Patreon. Link for that down below. While you're down there, click on that Discord link, join us in the Discord, be a part of the community, be a part of the conversation. And as always, in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you will see the corruption bar. That bar serves two purposes. One is when that bar fills, Dot does what the hell she wants to us, which is mostly get us eaten by aliens. And two, every single dollar that goes into that bar goes back to these wonderful, amazing faces that you see here before you. That being said, you've been recapped. We're still alive. Dot, take us into space.
Last week, Barden and Kitchens were left with new research, which kind of took a couple days to run. While you were waiting, there are two things you witnessed. One, you witnessed a military-like vehicle break atmosphere and head back into LV-223. In addition, during about 2 days while you do this research, because it's not something that's fast and it's not something that can run while you faster than light travel, right? So you needed to finish your research from the safety of orbiting in this space. But as your moon, LV-223, that you are kind of orbiting around, passes around the actual planet it orbits, there is a second moon, which you know to be LV-426. As they pass one another over the course of a couple days, you realize there is a small station that is orbiting, that seems to be permanently, not a ship, a station, a very tiny one, permanently in orbit of LV-426. If you tried to make contact, everything seemed to be barred and blocked, and no response was ever given. Just so you have that information. Whatever ship entered atmosphere never came back out, at least not to your knowledge. There was no visual of that anyways. And about 48 hours will pass as you kind of learn the information you do, but it would be Geppetto that comes over the comms of Monstro after about 48 hours or so, and I imagine you're both tired, and you've got that look of a scientist who stays up far too late. and works excessively and obsessively. And Geppetto simply says, "I do not mean to interrupt your research, but it seems that another vessel has entered this system."
This is particularly targeting. Are you targeting specifically like Kitchens or Bard or both of us?
I would say, yeah, both of you, because you would both be sharing
Sure.
yeah, you would be sharing it. So
facility.
sure, yeah, the facility. So I would say yes.
Yeah, we cut a hole from the med bay to the science lab, and now it's one giant bay. Remember?
That's is
Where
that
Barton-
far off?
Where Barton's shirt cocks it between the two rooms on his rolly chair.
Oh man. Oh, why do I feel like there would just be like a flap that's how we get through? So angrily, we slam the flap when we pass through.
Absolutely.
Okay. Another like as in Geppetto, another vessel.
Correct. Another vessel. Small and not military.
Oh. How far from our current location?
In its current trajectory, it will reach us in T-minus 15 minutes.
Interesting. I wait to see if there's anything at all from Barton. If there's not,
Is it headed for us like a collision course, or is it slowing? What's it doing?
It is on track to reach our destination. It does not seem to be on course for collision.
Okay, well, judging by the fact that those space marines haven't shot us down out of the air with lasers yet, can you open a hail? Can we?
Hailing vessel.
Right.
You kind of hear a boop 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 boop, and the camera cuts. Vince, you were about 20 or so minutes out from where you kind of think they are, or where they said they would be. It will not be hard to note them. They're in a massive freighter. So you should see them as you kind of come around the horizon line of the planet, or of this moon. And you're able to get Ace and Rin up, no problem.
All right. Yeah, I go to their sleep pods and turn them off, have them wake up.
Both of you are pretty traveled and seasoned, including Ace, space sleepers, so there's no need to roll for any kind of sickness or long-term effects. You weren't under that long. And just about the time both of you managed to shake off the cold of cryo sleep, and regain kind of your sea legs, if it were, you hear the beeping
Space
of
legs.
the comm. Yes, the comm. At the front, like where the pilot sits for the small vehicle, as it beeps in, you're being hailed.
When I go up to the HUD, can I see who we are being hailed by?
It seems you are being hailed by the Monstros, signifying like number set, right? Because you're all off the grid, so it's not like it doesn't pop up going, the Monstros calling you. Yeah, so.
I accept the hailing, and then I go up to the microphone and I say, "Yeah, this is the Vincent coming in to see the Monstro. Over."
The hell's a Vincent? That a dumb name for a ship. Who names a ship Vincent? That's like a human name. Doesn't make any sense.
Sounds awfully close to Vince. If he were quite a bit larger in size, he's still just we in. I mean, I guess he's an adult at this point.
Maybe something happened to him.
Is this a puberty thing?
Oh, I thought it was like a throat cancer thing, like one of the boxes you talk through.
Oh,
I don't know what happens in the space station.
We haven't figured out something to work. Vincent?
Yes.
Vincent, how do I do this, Barton? Hello.
Just keep Let's find out.
Hello, Kitchens. Hello, how's it going?
I knew it was Vince.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah, that's a good, solid joke, kid.
Did you guys actually think we were another ship?
No, we absolutely did not. That's we were playing along for your own benefit there, because you're a child, you developing mind and all that.
I'm not a child.
Was that a joke or did you hit puberty?
We didn't want to crush your hopes and dreams.
That was a joke. I've been spending a lot of time around Rin and been making fun of the accent. So
And
anyway,
by a lot of time, you just spent 2 weeks alone in space.
Yeah.
Just a little crazy.
Anyway, are we good to dock? I'm glad to hear that you guys are okay.
Oh, I'm not certain yet. I wouldn't necessarily know that it is safe. We are technically being followed by a military vessel. We've been staying just outside of range. Unsure if they intend us harm or not.
Rin,
want-
you hear that?
But come on in. I mean,
Yeah, I look at Rin and Ace.
Oh man. Okay. Wait, move over. And she cues him. What military vessel?
it's an intercom. You can just talk. You don't have to be in front of it. That
Hi,
one
Ren,
over.
it's good to see you, Ren. How are you?
Can you see me? Did they add something in here for video?
No, Hi, Ren.
This is not going very well. This is
I'm much
very
better in
difficult.
person, Barton. You know
It's a
this.
whole.
I
this is a
raised
whole
my
thing.
eyebrows at Rin.
Okay, never mind. Anyway, what military vessel?
Oh, it appears to be a bit larger than a traditional puddle jumper. They've been following us now for a few days. A few days.
Did they reach out? Because I sent backup.
We set to hail
not.
if they message or send line, but nothing.
Yeah, no, they didn't reach out. And there's actually a small space station over by the other moon we've seen. So there's a whole situation going on over here. And if you send somebody, I haven't seen them.
Station.
Hope they didn't go to the planet side.
On the maps?
It is not listed. It is an unlisted, totally. It's not even marked. There is not supposed to be a station circling that moon.
Not surprised.
She glances at Ace. You know anything about a station?
No.
What in the hell? Well, that's suspicious, isn't it?
Do you guys know who owns
Yes, it
the
is.
station?
Very suspicious. Yeah, no, I would. It looked like Space Marines, if I'm being perfectly honest with you.
Is
I
that?
believe that.
Oh, okay.
No, we are unaware of as to whom owns the station.
Okay.
50% of things that Barton says is not true.
So what should we do about this? These military guys? I guess, Rin, is there some way you could like try to track and see if these are your guys or not?
Did you send an entire space station over here?
No, I did not send a space station. I don't have that kind of pull. Thank you.
Well,
for
then-
the call.
Then one would believe that they are not, in fact, your guys. Also, they're
You
on the
said there
wrong.
was also a military vessel. Is there a space station or a military vessel
Yeah.
or both?
Is it
Yes.
both?
I believe it is. They're one and the same.
Equal
You wait-
parts.
You witnessed a military vessel drop into atmosphere and never return from the planet. And then on the moon, LV-426, in your rotation over the last 2 days, you witnessed a small space station on that moon, which is not the moon the military dropped in on. The military dropped in on the same one you and Kitchens just left. Barton and
see.
Kitchens just left.
So there actually isn't
I say that.
military that are like, on our tail or anything.
No.
They
No,
went-
Barton is just
Oh, okay.
paranoid.
Got it.
Okay,
All
so
right.
the military went down to the moon.
But
Yeah.
not the same moon
And they
where
said
the
nothing to
station
you.
is.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, guys. Can I just speed this up a little bit? Once you get on the ship,
All
Oh,
right.
look, we're here.
We've just
Through
been
the
passing
magic of
time.
television, we're
Yeah.
back.
Basically, yes, there's a very boring, slow docking scene that gets cut from our movie.
The Batman transition.
Takes 45
But it's the alien xenomorph.
And you do eventually dock. As you walk on, you know exactly where to find Bartons and Kitchens if they don't greet you. And you see that the lab is in a sort of functioning disarray. 2 scientists, and they have very clearly been hard at work over the last few days. At this point, they've been gone probably since they left you, 7 days, give or take. Almost this moon rotation would be roughly about 7 days. Yeah, actually it would be more than that. If I do the math, it would be more like 9 days, because y'all also had a week's journey out.
I think
Okay.
Kitchens will be there to greet. I mean, at least at this point, he's happy to see other faces. Not that Barton is not an exceptional individual, but having more noise.
Specimen, I think, is a
Yes. Come on, it's volunteer at this point. Likely, like even the point that with some excitement, he probably refers to Vince as his kohai, just because he heard it in anime once, and it stuck with him.
I love it.
What does that mean, Kitchens?
Oh, it's are you familiar with senpai?
Yes.
A kohai is like the mentee. The senpai is like the
Oh.
mentor.
Okay. Are you going to teach me science stuff now?
I can try. It depends if you wish to pick that up. I know that you've been learning quite a few things from Ren. I heard it in your voice. The dialect that you used was spot on. Ren, what did you think?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Are
She
we
was still
talking
coming
about
out of cryo.
some noodles or something here? I'm very confused.
Noodles sounds so
How,
good.
What?
Okay. We'll do science stuff later, but so what did you guys discover down there? You
Oh,
made
it's
this
very
big trip.
exciting.
What's
And incredibly lethal. I would not recommend it if you have blood pumping through your veins regularly. It's not something that I would recommend.
The
Yeah,
noodles
yeah.
are lethal?
No, okay, listen, I'm gonna need everyone just to sit down. Just take a seat, pull up some corrugated metal, grab a chair, whatever you gotta do. There's a lot happening. I'm sure you guys have a
Sit
lot.
down. Why are you telling me what to do? You sit down.
Listen, you just got out of hypersleep. You're in your 60s. I don't want you to pass out. It's a big announcement, okay?
You're older than I am.
I just outran some aliens and I saved
Barton.
Kitchens'
Hey,
life
shit.
Tell
with
us what you're
a
going to
shot
tell
of
us.
gun.
What
at a-
happened?
Okay,
What
listen.
happened?
So, suffice it to say that the entire planet is overrun with the various species of aliens, all of
Hyperevolution.
which want to get inside your body and explode
Everyone of
out of it or eat it from the outside in.
At least
Um,
multiple times.
Yeah, this may sound ridiculous, but
It's not.
it's true. I had to shoot worms that came out of the ground and tried to eat Kitchens.
It's
One
true.
of them stabbed me in the arm here, and I shot
fixed
a
it.
rifle that I had found in the truck, and I think I saved the day. It was
He at least saved my legs. I thought he was
Yeah.
going to shoot them off,
Yeah.
but he did not. I am quite grateful.
Some
it was
Cesta
fairly
level
impressive.
stuff right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say. So what we found is, and this is why you want to sit down. So some 2,000 years ago, there was a guy named Jesus, apparently, and that's the whole foundation of Christianity or whatever. And he was an alien, and then we killed him, and then all the other aliens got real mad about it and decided to try to blow up the planet Earth. And this was the staging ground for all of their war machines. And then cut to about 100 years ago, David One and Mr. Wayland arrived here and started fucking around and found some alien shit. They woke up one of the aliens because apparently they sleep for a very long time. That didn't go great. That alien died. Wayland died. And I think mostly Kitchens, I'm just agreeing with him, that David One stole one of the alien ships because there's apparently a shitload of them down there just buried a couple of 100 feet under the ground, along with a bunch of bombs, like a bunch of alien-making super acid, eat-your-face bombs. So anyway, we think David One stole the ship and absconded into the ether there to populate the galaxy with fucking chest-exploding aliens.
With one small caveat that
Yeah, please.
I do not believe that they are technically aliens. I think they are our forefathers. Your forefathers.
Yeah.
I believe that humanity is an offspring of this race of precursor creatures.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah, you remember that sheep Molly or whatever her name was back in like the 90s, like 100 years ago.
I read about that. Yes, I read about that.
It's like they did that, but us a couple
How do you spell
thousand years
that?
ago. I don't know. I could probably write it down for you. It's like an onomatopoeia
Please.
or something. Yeah, I'll write down. Give me a notebook.
So the aliens are a weapon the ones that we've fought?
I think eventually. I think
In a roundabout way.
I think what had happened is they had this goo, and the goo is the weapon. And
Yes.
then
Saying
the
now-
aliens came from the goo eventually through evolution. I don't
Yes,
know.
again, hyper evolution. Yes.
the original David has now stolen a ship that we can presume is full of this biological weapon that already tried to destroy us once.
No. Well, there are some parallels between Christianity and David, and the part about the crucifix and the crucifying there might be some semblance there. Remember, we discovered
Yeah.
David,
Yeah.
what a martyr he was, and he is no more. I guess technically I can reach through some of that backup data, but what seems to remain, I want to go back. I really want to go back. I feel like I have to go back.
Didn't we learn that ship was like torn into several pieces?
Oh no, I meant the moon.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been a real bitch with time convincing him not to go back down there right now.
What do you expect to find? You guys already found so much.
I founded theories, and I am just searching for more proof. I have some wild theories, admittedly, but I believe that the alien that Barden had discussed was a precursor for man. And from what, it's really hard to say. We weren't there. No idea what Wayland was attempting to discover. Maybe he was hoping to meet his maker. Maybe he was looking for life eternal. Whatever the case may be, I wasn't there. David, I believe, was there.
I would like to interject and add two very important facts that I think I might have glossed over here. One being that we did find an ancient underground alien ziggurat of some kind that is used to house their military end of the world doomsday bombs. Possibly several more ships down there. I don't know. I haven't done a full scan. But more importantly, at least in my opinion, we did find this precursor, as Kitch is explaining, but it did have its chest exploded out, right? Like things we've seen do that before. Except, like the little guys that kind of just suck onto your face, and we don't really know the whole gestation process. We found another one, and it's fucking huge. That's really the long and short of it. If the little guy is like the size of like maybe two hands, this could be like in the feet big. Yeah. So we expect an equally exponentially large alien. Also alien varieties we do not know about. There was a bird thing that just fucking swooped down and ate a bunch of the worms that were trying to kill us. That was fucking terrifying.
Simian-like creatures, very similar to
the
early Earth apes.
Monkey people. Yep, we don't want that. And that's just what we've seen so far. Also, I did hear, we heard it. We did hear, we were poking around inside the ziggurat. We heard a definite scream or roar, or I don't know what you can call it. The alien that we know made a noise.
There was more than that, though, Barden. I am certain that there were other humans aboard the planet.
Yeah. So, I mean, Wayland didn't come with just himself in a synth. There had to have been a whole crew attached. So I'm sure they're all fucking aliens.
The other ship that was more recent. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dot. Wasn't there another vessel that was more recent?
There was movement on the inside of it. It seemed kind of sealed off. It had still been there for a hot minute, but it did seem sealed off, and there was movement on the inside, though you are not sure what.
Oh. What kind of ship was that they saw?
I did in fact.
It wasn't
tell
a bison.
You that.
It was smaller.
It was not. It was actually a very specific vessel.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there's not only like the old U-shaped alien ship that he was talking about, and then the crashed human ship, but there was
a third ship.
A third ship that is kind of in our timeline.
Correct. So,
I recall it was like within the last 20 years.
Yes, versus the last 100, which is when we're pretty sure Wayland Yutani disappeared with his crew. Why can't I find what I'm looking?
I say to Kitchens, Look, I don't know if we have. I mean, this is all interesting, but I don't know if we have the firepower that it sounds like we would need to get down there. My only interest, though, my interest is you're saying all this stuff about like where these aliens came from and like this is the source, this is where all this stuff was created. What if I wonder if the two of you wouldn't be able to like synthesize something that could be used to destroy the aliens?
That was actually my idea, my original idea, but I needed some core samples to start allocating just how similar genetically they were. And the believed, what I call precursors at this point, have a lot of startling similarities to humans and humanity. Much more complex in DNA, but well, Barden saw it that it had two eyes, it had a nose, it had a full respiratory system, it had teeth. It definitely had a tongue, similar taste buds. It had a large truncated chest and the same amount of digits on each hand. And despite the fact that it was desiccated for many, many years, likely what feels like at least, I would best guess, a century. There are too many similarities there, Vince. I even it might be a bit graphic, but I even saw that it had genitalia. There's too many similarities. The only difference was it seemed to lack a lot of body hair in general, like how traditional humans happen to have. But I think again that is evolution for us, not for them necessarily.
So they recognize that vessel, the one that dropped 20 years ago, not 100, as an excavator vessel, a Class 7 excavator vessel. It was Barden who recognized this kind of vessel as something that is often used for ferrying kind of cargo in low orbit for pickup. It's not really meant to leave planet. There is a possibility, based on what Barden knows, that it could have come from Hadley's Hope. That it was an excavator vessel for the colony of Hadley's Hope on 426, and it crash landed possibly on 223. The timeline of when Hadley's Hope disappeared or went like dark lines up to that timeline of when it might have crashed 20 years so.
He will explain all of that and add in. So, just since we're all spinning here, a couple more things. I certainly hope that your friends that you sent here, Rin, were not the ones who went down on planet side. Kitch and I have been back here for a couple days now, and we were on the planet for a mere matter of hours before we were attacked and fled for our very lives. Granted, these Marines far more armed and far more skilled at firearms than us. However, I would assume they would also have been attacked once, if not several times by now, and are more than likely dead, given the ferocious nature of the things on that planet, which I assume is all of them. Two, I do find it very strange that that stations over there in the aforementioned Hadley's Hope area, Bishop, whole thing, chasing down everybody and their fucking mother these days. So I do find it very strange that we kind of arrived and then we saw that there has a secret space station over there on a planet that doesn't exist on any star charts.
Is it really that surprising, though, Barden?
It's not surprising. It's just concerning, right? It's a bad. It's because if they see us, we're already super triple double whammy wanted for like every crime you could possibly imagine. I think at this point, a bad day,
bit contrived for convenience. It's
yeah.
They've been here for a while.
That list for wanted crimes, as she kind of points over to Ace being there.
Oh yeah, criminal Bobby over here. Yeah, no offense, you looking good, kid. So it's real bad times if they sort of see us and decide to hail or send the ship over. Since we're in a giant dumpster, basically.
Honestly, I can say I don't believe 90% of your, how you scientists call hypothesis about Jesus. That's ridiculous. But regardless, if you're saying there's aliens on this particular planet and there is an infestation of them, would it not be prudent to maybe, I
Nuke
don't
the
know,
planet from orbit.
do you have that kind of weaponry?
Absolutely not. I have a pistol and this here rifle. Also,
Honestly,
I have a cutting torch.
if we were smart, we wouldn't go back down to that. And by we, I mean you, because you may all likely die. I believe that I will be tossed around a few times before they lose interest. I am not made of the same biochemical makeup. I will not bleed hot blood that they can devour and ingest. I'm not made of the same meat. They will grow bored of me. But the truth is, if you move down to that planet, they are not the aliens. That's their habitat. They've achieved homeostasis. We are the aliens.
Yeah, he's got a point there. Also, just for the record, I know that I have some crazy hypotheses and some crackpot theories and ideas over here. I did not create the whole Jesus scenario. It's painted on the 2,000-year-old cave walls, so I didn't make that up.
Okay,
I don't
but
want-
your
I don't want credit for that.
interpretation is subject to your own biases anyway. So
Actually, I just took a video and I had Geppetto scan everything. That's what Geppetto shit out. So I take no responsibility for Jesus being an alien. That's on the robot. That's on the computer.
also the fabrication of humankind putting together.
I'm just saying, I'm not taking credit for Jesus being an alien. I don't want that on my
Isn't-
conscience. Shit's bad
Isn't
enough
that the
already.
same? Isn't that the same as the Bible, though?
Yeah, all of it is. I'm just saying that. So there's no way for. I feel like never mind. Anyway, regardless, we have another infestation problem. We have a suspicious station orbiting said planet nearby where the moon is infested. And now, very possibly, the reinforcements that I requested are now dead on said.
Yeah, that could very well be.
Vince, don't forget you have two pieces of information that nobody knows yet, which is
That's right.
Ace told you that she knows where David Morris is being held, and that you witnessed or you tapped into a secret or top secret series of communications for a station that went dark. It was bombed.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm so sorry, not a station, a planet. It was wiped clean, bombed, the whole planet. Gone. You know, it's a bit far away from you where you are, but you did pick up on the transmission.
I share those bits of information with the fact that this guy that Ace knows where he's being held is the author of the Space Beast novel.
It's true. He's still alive.
Yeah.
Getting to him could be a much larger problem.
Okay. Knowing everything that we know, what would be the most tactical advantage against Weyland-Yutani and this whole alien problem? Where do we go? What do we do?
Well,
we need proof. If we can get proof that Weyland-Yutani is trying to do this or has been covering it up, maybe we can get more people to believe us.
I guess that would be at the station, not necessarily the planet, unless we investigate that other ship you guys saw that went down 20 years ago. Kitchens, I know you want to go down, and I mean, it sounds like literally the secrets of human and alien evolution are right beneath us.
I mean,
But
have you tried to hail that ship?
The one on the planet, the one that went down a couple days ago.
Yeah.
No,
can we?
we kind of assumed that they were strange space marines and that we are super double triple max criminals. I don't know if you missed that part, but
But Rin sent them, right? Rin,
we didn't
they're supposed to be helping
know
us?
we didn't know that. They didn't hail us. They didn't know a call sign. I would have assumed, Rin, if you told your friends, hey, I got friends hanging out on a garbage dumpster in space, they would have been like, hey, that's clearly a floating dumpster. and I should probably talk to them. They didn't do that. They went right to the planet, and I'm sure immediately got eaten by fucking aliens. Did I mention there's a bird alien? A giant
Yeah, you did.
bird alien. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure that's clear. It flies. It flew, and it tried to steal our truck. So when I say bird alien, I don't mean like a little guy.
Yeah.
I mean it tried to take our whole
So
truck.
what if we? Is there any way we can hail either the 20-year-old ship or the ship with the military people on it without having people know who we are? And I give a very deliberate glance at Ace.
We have no guarantee, though, first, that's even Ren's allies. We is anybody else at all suspicious as to what happened on the previous station where we were being sought after? I was being sought after by Michael Bishop.
Yeah.
Bishop has been tailing us for so long. And now we sudden upon a rogue space station near a perfect series of alien homeostasis. This seems too perfect a scenario. Wayland Yutani. No, I take that back. I think Bishop used Wayland Yutani to facilitate his own personal means. And I think that he was likely using United Americas similarly.
Well, with any luck, then maybe he's on that station and we can deal with him just in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
You would know that, yes. Kitchens, many of your gut instincts are good. Based on what you know. I would say, Barden, you also know that LV-426 was where they attempted to set up Hadley's Hope all those years ago when you applied for a job and you were denied and instead sent to an ice planet underwater.
Good times, I remember that.
It was Michael Bishop's project. Hadley's Hope was his project. He was head of that colony's establishment. And probably the cover up of whatever happened when it went dark that nobody talks about now.
And if you remember the previous declaration, Bishop was the originator of the synth lines. He's a maker.
Yes, correct. Of the Bishop model.
Yeah. He's a maker. He makes things like this, broken things that operate under his control. Where better to be than a planet that is outside of normal human means of capability, understanding, and control that has been hyper evolved by a super weapon.
Let's see.
What do you think, Ren? It's just a lot.
I think that I need a drink and some quiet thoughts with myself. I think that's what I need. Yeah. This is just bad news. The whole thing is just bad news.
Yeah, it's been a real fuck of a time. Being
I'm
honest.
used to it at this point.
I mean, this is the worst of the bad that's happened up to this point for the last 10 so years for me. This is the worst. This is the actual worst.
I mean,
Get past all the rest, but this is just.
If it makes it any better, my medical testing on Barden has yielded some fruits of labor.
What?
Yeah, I got attacked by a monster.
Was able to metaphorically roll back the hands of time by about 15 or 20 years. Became quite spry and youthful for a brief window.
Yeah. I sprinted.
I'm not worried about my getting old. I can still want gun. I'm worried about the fact that we have no means of destroying Bishop or these creatures if they are what you're saying they are. I mean, how are we supposed to fight that?
Oh no, I completely agree. I was simply trying to find a positive note, a silver lining in a cup that seems to be filled with manure.
Yes.
Let's try to get more information. If we can find a way to hail or scan either of those ships, the 20-year-old one or the military one that landed, or if we're really successful at that, maybe, I don't know, find a way to scan the station without having it come back to us. I don't know. I mean, Ace and I
could
can
take
work
my-
on something, but
Bessie, I could go out, do a scan, go once round, maybe get into the atmosphere and see if I can even see anything on the surface without landing. Although now the bird creature you telling me about has got me all in a tizzy. So I don't know. You think it could take a spaceship out of the sky?
No, I do not think so.
Okay.
It is a large avian predator, a raptor for certain, but it is not large enough to take a vessel out of the air. At
Three,
least not
4,
this.
maybe 5 of them could, but not one alone.
It couldn't take our trash vessel.
No, it
Right?
could potentially take her puddle jumper though.
Okay.
Right, which is like an inner atmosphere, right? It's smaller. It only holds 2-3 people, so
Okay. Why don't I just do that? A little recon.
yeah.
Because right now, all I got are more questions and no answers of any kind, and that's just not helpful.
Can I is there any way that I could modify her vessel?
with time.
I with our with that gun, that shock net gun, am I
Yeah.
able to sort of build like a temp net over the top of this where a creature might come down so that she would be able to like hit a button and it would send like a shockwave just over the surface of the vessel?
Yeah, you could try to make a roll here to reverse alter it. It will break the gun down.
Yeah, I'm willing to do that.
Okay, cool. I would say a heavy machinery or no, this is really a heavy machinery check.
Can I get Ben's assistance with this?
Ben can absolutely do this for you.
Nice.
Yeah, I just want to explain to him what I need and then fingers crossed that he can figure it out. Do you want me to roll for it? I can open that sheet.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he needs to roll for
Got
the heavy machinery.
Okay, let me open that sheet.
It's been a while.
It has been a long while. All right. So open. Thank you.
Depending on how successful he is, we'll see how well this pans out.
Can I push?
You can.
Okay,
He
so
takes a stress.
I don't even remember how that works.
You add a
Because-
stress to your stress track, and then you re-roll heavy machinery after adding the stress.
Okay, so stress tracker, stress, heavy machinery. Got it. Cool.
Of course.
Okay. Just roll the panic, which is a D6 in this case +1. There's also at the top it says panic. You could just hit the panic button.
All right, let's see. Where is the panic button?
Top of the character sheet.
Yeah. Under roll buttons.
Okay. Panic. 7.
Great. A 7. Okay. This he does manage to reverse alter. Who is anybody helping him with this task?
I was actually thinking that Vince would.
Vince, I will let you also roll a heavy machinery
Okay.
separately, and then I will tell you what goes down.
Holy
What
shit.
the?
Okay, dope.
Well,
Okay.
well done.
All right, so well done. Since you are nearby, your stress is going to increase by 1 as
Mine as well.
yes,
mean?
yours
Okay.
as well. So I need his to increase. So take Jake's up. Vince, take yours up 1.
Okay.
Jake begins to, you notice a twitch develop. And maybe it's a nervous twitch, maybe it's just the stress of all of this, of hearing what's going on, of being this close again to the creature. as he kind of re-rigs this electricity system, which is what this is. He is having to pull the electrical bits out of this gun and repurpose this whole kind of exterior of the vessel. In the end, you have to take over because the twitch is too much. The shake is too much for him. It does add a little stress to your track, but in doing so, the vessel has 3 charges. So it can be set off 3 times. What did I say the damage on that gun was, Bub? Did I give you that?
I don't remember. It wasn't a gun that, like, we had the option of either setting it to stun or setting it to fry, and it just meant more charges on stun, so I never messed around with the fry.
I'm gonna check the Colonial Marine book may have something like this, so I'm gonna quick check the gear here and see if there's something similar. I'll give you some details on how it works.
That's right, because we rigged it, right?
You literally built it. It was the electricity net you built last season.
The only note I have for that says Barden bubblegummed up the magnetic net gun with 3 successes.
Oh, it was a net gun. That's what it was. That's right. It was a magnetic net gun. Okay. Well, we can still make it. I mean, the rolls were plenty high enough to make it some kind of electricity gun or to like re-rig the piece together. I guess there isn't a whole lot.
If it's like a netting or a mesh to go over the top of the vessel, then I'm okay with that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I believe the stun effect in Alien is like the old school stun effect in video games where like you lose your turn. That's
what I was thinking.
So like the stun grenade has a stun effect of -2, which means you are stunned for 2 rounds, I believe.
Okay.
I don't think that means the birds just like stop flying for 2 rounds.
Yeah, then it would take a nosedive. Yeah. So we'll keep that for now, unless the situation calls for something different, because you don't know what it's going to call for. But over time, Ben and Vince managed to rig this up. What are the rest of you doing while it's going to take y'all a while? It's not going to happen in even 30 minutes. It's going to take you a bit.
Kitch is going to help as much as he can, since it's like sort of his like brain baby for this, and he wants to make sure that if Ren's going to go down there, she's not going to get messed up by this.
I know you searched the ship, Barden, over those few days. I gave you that list in Discord of the things that you found.
Yes.
Which include a basic service pistol, which is pretty standard issue and pretty readily available. I think it was like binoculars, a grenade, a welding torch, and something else.
A couple of like a pistol. That's what it was.
Yeah, there were like 5 or 6 items I gave you.
Yeah.
Which can be distributed however you see fit. This is the tractor that is on this freighter that the crew has, that basically can be dropped or ridden off the main freighter and onto ground. I don't think I have a card for the vessel that the Star Cub, which is the one that Rin owns, but I do have stats for it. So, and then this is, you know what? I'll flip this up. This is this one here. This tactical dropship is kind of what you saw in her upper atmosphere. Actually, this probably would have been on one size ship larger, but in essence, this is what would drop to the ground for the Marines.
Cool.
So what is the plan?
I looked it up for you, Dot. Anyone hit by a stun who takes damage must immediately make a stamina roll, which does not count as an action, or be stunned for 1 round.
Okay. That's great. Thank you. That's very helpful.
Mm-hmm. The Star Cub is the character sheet for Rin's vessel.
Your vessel. Yep.
Okay.
And you can add whatever you'd like to it.
Yeah, I'm just putting Big Bessie on here so he knows who it is.
Any weapons you already have remain. Any armor that you already had remains.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we did.
Rin at this time, while everybody was doing their thing, she was having a drink, sitting with her thoughts, and then she emerges from her cabin
You
space.
can alleviate a stress for drinking.
Oh, okay. I don't think I have any stress right now. Surprisingly.
Perfect. You definitely don't have any more.
And she is fully, like, she's in full armor, like combat armor now, which I totally purchased with all that money that they stole.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Anybody else? Did anybody want to try to hail the military vessel?
Only if we feel like we can't be traced or
You can roll a
identified.
contact check.
Could I have Ace help me somehow?
Yeah, you could take an extra 1 to your roll with Ace's help.
Great.
Since you're both,
I'll give it the good old college try. And I get +2 to contact from one of my Siegson devices, so I'll do 3. All right, here we go. 2 successes.
Great. Yes. You can remain off the grid in this regard. Like if you wanted to try to pick up a signal, which is basically what you do. You do a general search and see if somebody's putting out a signal. Versus hailing them directly. That's not going to be almost impossible unless you know like their call. Right? You can't get to the other end of a walkie-talkie if you don't know what channel you're supposed to be on. So it's not going to be an open communication line like that. You're going to try to scan and pick up a signal from something, and then you can see what you can do from there. And you, in fact, do. You get the computer pings back that there is only one active radio signal, and it seems to be, would you like to connect to the radio signal?
Yes.
Okay. When you do, there's a bit of static at first. And then you realize that it's playing a distress signal, a recorded distress signal. It is not a live line.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can do this. Mayday, mayday. Red alert. We are in need of desperate help. Desperate help. This is Colonial Marine. I repeat, we are in need of desperate help. Please, anyone, if you receive this message, please respond. And the line goes dead. And it begins to replay the message over and over again. Red alert. Red alert. We're in need of desperate help.
Can I tell when that message was initially broadcast?
It has been on loop for roughly almost 48 hours.
Okay. I impart this to the others. Well, Ren, I suggest you don't land. You can certainly still fly, but
Yep. And she slings her rifle on her back and then her pistol to her side. Guess we'll see what happens.
Is anybody going with Rin?
Yes.
Okay. The vessel holds 2 people comfortably. There are 2 seats on board the ship, and 2 cryopods on board the ship. It can hold a 3rd person, but there is no seat for you or seatbelt. It does not hold more than 3.
I'll stay up here. This is just recon, right? You guys aren't landing and starting something.
Correct. Can we take these pods out, flatten the load just in case for maneuvering?
Sure. And we
We'll remove
Take
Pod, what are you going to remove?
the 2 sleeping pods.
Oh, you're going to actually remove the pods. That does take some time, but Ben is glad to help you, I imagine, with it.
Yeah.
As well as, anybody else that's on board that's extra hands. So it would hold 4 now, but it still only has 2 seats.
Yeah. The intention was to just reduce the weight of the vehicle so that in case we need to,
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. So
Have
basically,
fun.
you empty out the cryo deck is what you do,
Yeah.
pulling the 2 pods and the containers that basically feed in
Yeah.
oxygen and the cryo freeze and all of that all comes out, lightening the load. So going is Kitchens, Ren, Vince.
Vince is going
Kitchens
to
and
stay up
Ren.
unless they want me to come.
Just kids. Yeah. Just kitchen run.
Okay. All right then.
That's
Why
Okay.
not good
exactly
news.
we're doing
Okay.
this?
No,
little bit more
I'm very
information, that's all.
excited to see
Recon.
Yeah,
how this
recon.
goes down.
We're not making big decisions yet.
What is everybody else doing as they depart to do a planet scope? They're going to scope
Vince
things out.
for sure is going to work with Ace to try to find ways to safely learn more about that station that is orbiting. Not never making a move if it means revealing who we are, but trying to make progress towards essentially doing a macro version of what we just did to the ship that's down at the planet, essentially trying to pick up on signals or stuff like that.
A comtech check.
Okay. I'll apply the same bonuses as before.
Yes.
All right.
Since Ace is helping you with this one, then I will tell you kind of the order this is all going to go down. What about Barden?
Barden is doing much of what he has been doing for the past 2 days. Although now without Kitchens, he is primarily like organizing and sorting all of the data they found for like the last year into like, this is the aliens pile, this is the David pile, this is the bishop, like, and like how they interconnect, right? Like he is
forget the anime pile too.
the anime pile, yeah, that's all on, that's all digital. Yeah, he's basically sorting out the data because I imagine it's like helter skelter in a a dual scientist office where like they know where everything is in the chaos, but no one else could find it. So he's trying to organize it in a way that it could be presented to somebody in a way that explains what the fuck is happening.
Okay. Would you like to also roll for some kind of research or comtech check or?
I don't think so. I think all the information we have is what we're going to get from the stuff we found without new data. It's more just he's trying to make it presentable to other people who aren't him and Kitchens. So you can see like, here's my report on the fucking aliens.
That's the title of the PowerPoint presentation. The fucking aliens.
Fucking aliens.
All right. I have to check a timeline thing and then to okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, so it's not that long ago. Okay. So the camera follows Big Bessie, Big Bertha, what you call her? Big Bessie.
Big Bessie.
Big Bessie, the Star Cub vessel, as it leaves the Monstro. The only 2 aboard are Rin and Kitchens, and they break atmosphere relatively easy, much easier than the freighter did, much faster than the freighter did. At this point, Kitchens, you have a rough scan of where you know that site is located on the moon's surface. And as you come in, Ren, you see that the majority of the planet is significantly more lush than you imagined it would be. You actually break through the crowd line to see kind of large treescapes and running rivers. And in fact, you kind of catch a coastline as you come into the coordinates that were given to you by Kitchens, and can ride along like a rocky cliff edge that opens up into vast ocean, like water. There's so much of this that reminds you of Earth, almost untouched Earth, with just a little bit of a twist. Everything's not exactly the same. You can see off on the horizon, there are kind of creatures flying. They don't seem to be flying towards you, nothing like that, but you can see a flock of things. And based on how lush this planet is and the vegetation alone, right? You can imagine that it is full of life. Even bugs splat on the windshield, or right, kind of in a green ooze. And so this place seems not at all dead. Rin, you have who has the watchful hairs? Okay, that's
me.
That's you. Okay. Y'all didn't come in this way last time because the freighter had to come in a little bit more direct. It's also much larger. It drops out of atmosphere like very much directly. I'm going to have you make an observation check as you're kind of flying along the edge of this coastline, rather low. Make an observation check, kitchens.
Okay. Looks like my wording is just a little off on this.
That's okay. What's it say?
It's +2 modification to observation when trying to spot a sneak attack.
I would say you're here to help, right? Keep an eye out and look for things. So I'm going to give it to you in this regard because that is literally this mission. It is a scouting mission. So you're going to be on, you'll be on
2 successes.
Okay. You're kind of flying along. And again, at a much farther distance than last time, you can see a similar bipedal creature or creatures swinging through the lush kind of tree line on this cliff like rocky edge to your right. But your astute observation and those hairs on the back of your neck that you had implanted, or maybe they come standard in all David unit models, you're not entirely sure, but it sure does help when things get a little weird, because the shadow of the vessel underneath you, like hitting the water's top, begins to grow larger in size. And you realize that something of mass size is rising out of the water underneath you.
And Ren does not see this yet.
Ren does not. Ren is piloting. I mean, Ren, you can make an observation. You're just not going to get it with any bonuses unless you have something to give you a bonus.
If she makes it or not, which doesn't seem the way unless you push, I'm going to immediately recommend that you raise elevation.
I will take a piloting check if you would like.
Okie dokie.
Let's just see how you do.
1 success.
You heed warning and pull the vessel up just in time for a massive sea creature, much the size of what we might consider like a whale. But its head, it comes a little bit more to kind of a pointed end, vast teeth, massive jaws, like open up to grasp onto your ship. For any of you that know what the Deacon is, this seems to have its origins deep-seated in the Deacon Xeno. As it opens its mouth, you can see that the skin that cover, like its lips, peel back, revealing kind of a bone-like mouth that juts farther out from its cranium as it reaches for your vessel. I'm going to roll to make an attack against your one piloting, unless you would like to push. I'll give you
Can I
that
assist
option.
at all? Is there something that I might be able to do to assist here?
I mean, I have fast reflexes, but that's for initiative, so.
Well, that is what we're about to do.
Okay.
So what does it give you for initiative? Because we are literally going into a minor combat.
Draw 2 initiative cards instead of 1 and choose which one you want. Then shuffle the other back into the
Great.
deck.
Then what I will allow, including kitchens, to do, you'll see the initiative deck there to the right.
Mhm.
Go ahead. I'm going to shuffle really quick. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. I hit it. That is the absolute opposite of what I wanted to do. Let me bring it back for you.
I just want to
The
emphasize.
release all aliens button.
I just want to emphasize the fact that these things have 2 fucking mouths. Like,
They
you know
have
how like
double
the
mouths.
the alien
my
opens its
God,
mouth and
yeah.
a tongue comes out and it's like, your little tongue. No, it opens its fucking giant maw, its teeth protrude forward, and then another whole mouth comes out. It has 2
That
whole mouths.
in a whale is terrifying.
It is.
my
It is.
gosh.
Yeah. It's
It's like a goblin shark.
It's called the Deacon Shark. It is officially native to LV223 by
Oh,
canon lore,
wow.
everybody.
Ugh.
Okay, yeah, so you can draw an initiative card now. Rin and Kitchens can do it. I will draw pull
I
it
drew
off
a
maybe
4 and a 7.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull those to the side here. Where did you draw the 4 to?
Right before that.
Okay, cool. That's not. Hey, I believe you. Go ahead and draw 1 kitchens.
Yeah, I'm just dragging right off this lower deck here.
Yep, the lower deck. Just click and drag out to the white space. Okay, another 7. The deacon rolled a 10. The deacon shark rolled a 10 or pulled a 10. So, meta Rin does have the option between the 4 or the 7.
Yeah. 7.
Okay. 7 it is. That means that you and Kitchens can choose who goes first this round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because basically it's the highest number goes first. So the 4,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, would go. I think that's how it works. So you would go first.
Okay.
Either way.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, Rin's gonna try to maneuver out of the way.
Okay, you can roll another piloting check.
Cool. 1 success.
Okay, another success. What would you like to do, Kitchens?
I'm gonna hold. There's not really a lot I can, unless there's some sort of like weapon system on this.
You just put one on it.
Yeah. Well, does it have a hold of us?
It does not yet. But it's all kind of happening in one turn. So imagine, like she's pulling up, it's jumping, it's gonna make a bite attack on the vessel. It'll all happen in one turn. So if you want to activate it, you could. Sure,
I'll set it for preliminary alarm.
Yeah, you're like you prep the red button to hit it in case it grabs hold of the. Okay, great. There's no need to make a check for that. Only if it succeeds in grabbing the vessel. It does not. It fails miserably. And Rin, you pull up just in time for its second mouth to just extend as far as it can, and it snaps. And you can feel, both of you, the entire vessel kind of jump in the air as its jowls snap close and the air pressure pushes the vessel up a little bit. It splashes and water out everywhere.
Well, I hate this planet already.
I'm fascinated. I don't think I'm allowed to legally be horrified. It wasn't programmed into me.
Could you pretend, perhaps?
I am here as moral support and to provide any sort of stimulant or medical aid assistance as I can.
I'm sure you will want to convey my last wishes and all that too, right?
No, not at all. This is earnestly out of trying to understand what it means to be a friend. In one of my weirdest and darkest hours, you were there for me. You held my hand on that table, so I'm just here to hold your hand back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's keep our eye on whatever it is, wherever we need to go. Because right now it seems like there's at least 2 or 3 different types of beings on this planet. Have you seen the ones that attacked you and Barden?
Yes, they technically had a hold of me. They were about to bite into my lower limbs. When Barden somehow managed to successfully draw fire and destroy one of them, their blood is similar in biochemical makeup, bled out acid.
Oh, son of a... Of course it is. Yes, of course it is. Can't just have normal blood in the organism. It has to be acid blood, because why not? Whatever idiot created this, I want to find them and I want to slap them silly and then just dunk them in a vat of acid from these creatures that they created and be like, what were you thinking? You think this was a good idea? It's not a good idea. I don't know.
He's already deceased. I have file map of his memory back on the Geppetto and the monster.
Okay, we'll bring him back to life and then kill him again.
Hey, Kitchens, as you say that out loud, you realize you have file memories of the original David. If you worked hard enough, you might be able to tap into his memory banks from when he was here 100 years ago.
Can I do that at the moment?
Nope. Not till you plug his head in, but you have a literal light bulb that probably goes off after you say that. That's like, you might be able to find out what really went down on this planet 100 years ago when he was here. It's going to take some fancy plugging in, but nothing to say you can't.
Kitchens is fancy. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. So
Fancy kitchens.
As you pass the rest of the water, much higher this time in elevation, you see what Kitchens and what Barden was babbling about. This kind of vast valley between two massive mountains. In the center of this big valley is a structure, it kind of looks like. A lot of the growth is kind of around it now. I imagine the easiest way I can explain it to you is probably some kind of like Amazon style temple that's been covered. Think very Indiana Jones, right? Was a stone structure that's now has overgrowth, but it still peaks up against the like dirt line. Around it is rubble, ship debris, and all kinds of stuff, at least at this height, also that has a lot of growth over it. It seems this area was disrupted quite a lot and has been left alone for quite a while since then. As you kind of fly in towards the valley, how close do you get? Because that will depend on what you see, and how hard your observation roll is going to be.
She probably goes a little bit lower now that there's no water below them. But do the sensor drones on the ship do anything for us in this particular case, or is that for something else?
Let's see what those sensor drones actually do.
Also, is the ship equipped for like scanning biometrics at all, even if it's just like surface level, or even
that might actually be what this sensor drone does. Let's find out.
Even thermal vision, something that would allow us to see additional like heat sensors.
I don't think it's going to have a heat sensor, but it probably does have some kind of general scan option. That is, my gut instinct says that's probably very, very true. I just need to get to that's the stations. Here's the vehicles. Okay. Let's see. No.
Ren, I wonder how far back this alien tech may have had impact on humanity as we know it. It dates back. We've seen similar pieces of artwork in historical documentation of like the Aztec, the Mayan civilizations, things of this nature. And if what Geppetto had said held any accuracies, then it may even have some draw, some design, even imminent design in the manipulation of Christianity as we know it.
So basically aliens control humans, and now they're trying to kill us. Cool. That's great.
What if humans just did something wrong? I've witnessed.
We did something wrong. Honestly, humans are completely flawed. We're constantly murdering each other, trying to one up each other, doing horrible things all the time. And for what? What purpose do we serve? None. Nothing but destruction. That's what.
That's what I fail to understand. Why make humans then? What is the point of?
Why make humans? That's probably the same question they asked, if that's what they were thinking about.
Was it an experiment? And that leads me to ask this next question. This biological weapon that they created that had fallen to this planet, it created life. What's the point of bringing a weapon to eradicate humans if it's not there to just reset, and allow us to come back again, formed anew? Well, us, I say us as if I'm one of you. You to come back anew.
But different.
Kitchens, roll a Medicaid check.
You got it.
This is all very biological thinking.
This is my best roll.
Good. Let's hope you get some. Okay.
I got one success.
As you kind of are talking out loud, and you literally say that. You say, why would they want to destroy it without like a plan to bring it back or to do anything? If the biological weapon was spilled in the original crash from that kind of wishbone-shaped vessel that you investigated, it did that here. It redeveloped the entire surface of this planet. Trees, atmosphere, oxygen.
Ecologically, how many thousands of years would that have taken to reach this point in evolution?
On its own?
Yes.
Thousands. It basically when it spilled and pulled itself into the soil on this area, this became a central eco point that spread outwards. And if it's true this only happened 100 years ago, this planet has re-terraformed in 100 years with new species, new plants, a fully functioning ecosystem. Like I said, atmosphere, oxygen. There is nothing necessarily saying that part of the biological weapon isn't to wipe it out and to start over at the same time.
Interesting. 100 years.
This kitchen saying these things out loud.
Yes.
What are you babbling about over there now? 100 years of what?
I wish I could have seen what this planet may have looked like 100 years ago, 120, 130 years ago, before this occurred. If there was any life here previous to that, and if this is simply a manifestation of what lingered of the biological weapon crashing and spilling out into this Terran environment. I don't think it was breathable by most respiratory systems, but now Barden could walk out onto the surface and breathe without suit assistance. You could as well. This would be relatively easy. David was able to habitate here, likely for some time, is my guess.
You can see on your readout, your HUD readout on the ship, it is reading high levels of oxygen. And especially the closer you get in this valley, the purer the air is. It's like being kind of at high altitude.
Yeah. Anything for the sensor drones that we can send out, or?
So the sensor drones are actually used to draw things off. So if something shot a missile at you, you could launch a drone to deflect that. But you're going to have basic sensors. All vessels are going to come pretty standard with basic sensors.
It's like flares.
Yeah, exactly. So somebody could roll a contact check if you'd like. To see if you can scan for anything specific. If not, I can give you the basic readout. But if you're looking for something real specific,
I'm decent at it.
I don't have any points in it, so.
I imagine Rin's also still like flying, so you could run it if you want to, Kitchens.
I have 3 successes.
3 successes. As you begin to run a scan on the area, there is quite a lot of life in this valley. But your sensors are drawn to, I hate to say it's heat censored, but it pings recent activity, which is a hot burning item about a quarter mile off to your right. It is smoking. You can now see it on the horizon coming out of the tree line, where it looks like a vessel kind of was brought down. Not in a crash. There's no like trees brought down. It looks like it landed, but it is now like smoking and on fire in that area.
I point this out to Ren.
Yeah, there are signs of life.
Okay, we'll take a closer look. Beyond, more hyper alert over here. See if we can't see if anybody's still alive in there.
In a 3 comtech, you also pick up life forms inside of the mining vessel, the puddle jumper that crashed about 20 years ago. There are signs of movement on the inside of that. It is the other side of the valley, basically, from where you're headed. As Ren pulls over, you can see that ship there, the military drop one, this tactical drop ship, that's what it's called. This tactical drop ship has landed. It is smoking, like it has had some damage done to it, but it doesn't look like it wrecked necessarily. You can see that camp was set up in this kind of clearing where they parked this thing. And from this altitude, it is of no question to both of you, you can see dead bodies on the ground. 3 of them, in fact.
Rin will try to hail the ship. Hello, anybody still alive down there?
This close, it's not very hard. And in fact, you do get back a message.
Hello? Hello, is somebody there?
Affirmative. Heard a distress signal.
This is Lieutenant Maria Casado. We're trapped inside of our ship.
Are you okay? How many are still living?
We have 3 alive, but 2 of us are injured. The whole ship's been surrounded for days.
She looks at Kitchens. Injured. That sounds like a bad idea, right?
Even if we had the opportunity to descend to pick them up, we don't have the room.
We could fit
One more.
a healthy one or 2 of the wounded, but
Ask the degree of injury.
how bad are your wounded? What are their injuries?
Well, the Lieutenant Colonel has severe bleeding. We have cauterized a few wounds. He's not been conscious for the last 24 hours. And, Staff Sergeant, he's all right. He's taken a major injury to his arm. But he'll be fine. Just a break. For some reason, we can't get the vessel off the ground. Every time we try to leave, it's pulled back to the earth as if the engines aren't working, but everything shows they're totally fine.
Okay. What kind of provisions do you have left in there?
We ate yesterday's rations. They were the last.
Okay. Well, we don't have a medevac capability on this ship. I could take you and we can send the vessel back for medevac, but I can't do both.
No, don't leave us. I can hear them scratching at the floor of the vessel. Please don't leave us.
You said it was a military vessel, right?
10-4.
How equipped are you for combat?
We were suited for a rescue. The vessel itself has no weapons. We are currently well armed, I guess. At least what's left of our team.
What exactly are you attempting to rescue, or whom are you rescuing?
We were sent by our commanding leader to provide support and rescue to 2 individuals visiting this planet.
Oh, yep. That would be the reinforcements that I called for.
Oh, they're yours. Oh. Well, I suppose we can make room. We were able to remove the pods, and the pods were quite a bit heavier than human bodies. So it would be tight. I will likely have to stand on them.
I have an alternative idea.
I'm listening.
She mutes. So if the thing that y'all did on the outside of the ship, what is it possible to transfer that energy, the pulse through their vessel, if our vessel was touching their vessel with metal?
Not likely.
Why not?
Well, we did not rig this to have the length to extend to another ship.
But,
A freighter could come into atmosphere and haul it.
Nope.
Do you want to get closer?
I unmute their comms. Do you have any demolitions available?
We used all of our explosives when we landed and were attacked.
Does anyone on vessel at this point have any experience in comtech? Are you capable of how can I say this? Do you have anyone that is capable in understanding tech?
Yes, Staff Sergeant, Orzai, is very. Oh no! I lied to you. That took me a second to say his name. Sizeborsky is actually how you say it. Adam Sizeborsky. She goes, I do. Myself. I run all of our comm.
Okay. Knowing the type of vessel that they have, Is the vessel only capable of ascent and then moving forward, or could they turn their wing or their blade pattern so that they could just propel forward immediately, even if they're anchored to the ground?
It basically, the feet rise off of it. Think of it a little bit more like the way a bird takes flight. Like, it takes flight and then it pulls its feet in just like an airplane, because this is an inner atmosphere. This is a drop shuttle. So basically they drop you from just an atmosphere and it straight down and it takes off. That's all it does. It would hit another military command vessel that's probably nearby somewhere in atmosphere, because they would have had to drop from something. That being said, Rin, do you want to get closer?
Only a hair closer.
Make a piloting check. I will let Kitchens make the observation check with your +2, because you may know things. Okay, good call. Good. This is good.
Okay, so piloting, and I get an observation. I'll take that observation.
And Dot, you're still in radio mode, just you know.
No.
Thank you.
Oh my
baby.
God,
Oh.
Kitchens.
Okay. Rin brings it down just a little as it does the trees part under the kind of air pressure. And as it kind of parts, you can see better debris, vines, and whatever's growing on the ground kind of separate and move. And as it does, you can see, because you know what to look for, around the feet of this drop pod or this drop ship. You can see they're kind of flat like this, are completely covered by the ground, and not just by the ground, but what seems to be this writhing bundle of those giant worms. They are holding the feet in the earth in mass, and you can see occasionally one of them will slither out and attempt to attack the bottom of the vessel. They're trying to slowly eat away at the hull from the bottom up and keep this vessel grounded. And we're talking hundreds of them. The whole ground slithers under it.
Okay.
Now you can also probably see one of them is wrapped around the neck of one of the corpses out front. You can see the kind of broken body where the constricting aspect of what they do has mangled what was left outside.
Is it safe to presume, right, based upon what I'm going to guess here, it's a vehicle that is meant to descend and hit surface, right? I imagine that this is also an all-terrain experience, and that it can probably land on icy surfaces. Therefore, it likely has some sort of tread or heated pattern so that it can turn on a dethaw.
Sure. I would say that it probably has an option for like melting ice away from the legs.
Okay. Then that's what I explain. I explain to her that she needs to wire this to set to dethaw despite its atmospheric heat levels, and set it up to as high as it can possibly go.
This message comes through, and you kind of hear the panicked voice and then silence on the other end of the comms of the lieutenant as she agrees. And there's a big breadth of a moment as whatever's going on in the inside of that ship is taking place. And our camera cuts back up to space. Straight to Vince, actually. You have been trying to run comm tech on trying to figure out what this was. And you had a success, too, in fact, right?
Yes, yeah, 2 of them.
You rolled 2. You start trying to run a diagnostics to pick up on something. And in fact, you do. But to your surprise, you were trying to pick up on a facility, something large. You do ping something, but it's much smaller than you thought it was going to be. Most people would actually consider this a rather large ship, not a station. But it is actually, trajectory-wise, properly orbiting, as if they have retired a ship in orbit around this planet. With a 2, I will let you ask me a question about that ship.
I want to know about, the topic of my question is who is on board, and within that, I guess what's more important is specifically who, whether it's a company or if I don't know if it'll let me get specific. And then if I had something else, it would be the quantity then also. But yeah, baseline who is on that thing.
Okay. There.
I guess basically scanning for life signs and IDs, I guess.
And IDs. You do not get IDs. This is heavily guarded in a way that tells you that this has a lot of money or support behind it. It's either military or Weyland-Yutani, potentially both. This is locked down hardcore, which tells you there is something on board.
Yeah.
What is really the question? All right. What you managed to get back instead is something that you thought was retired. It's something that manages to not, I guess, be behind, or they've missed putting behind a redacted wall, which are the vessels. Even though it's now being treated like a station, the vessel's original ID codes. You were able to run those ID codes and figure out what this ship was originally. It takes quite a bit, and you can tell that Ace is a little nervous. This is all a lot more than she expected when she decided to leave the station. She didn't expect to find potentially the home planet of this creature. It tells you that the ship was called the USS Legato, Legato, the USS Legato.
Smooth.
And there does seem to be transmissions coming out of it, but they are coming through in Morse code.
Can Ace and I start translating them out?
Ace would probably know Morse code.
Yeah.
I'll give you that much. She can maybe do this role. Yeah, she would be in on the Morse code vibes.
Morse
rebellion
code
and all
vibes.
that.
Yeah.
Rebellion and all that. So
A shirt that says Morse code vibes. Yep.
okay, she rolled a single success.
In Morse code, though.
But yeah,
Yes,
tap,
yes.
tap, 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 tap. It takes a bit, and you both sit in silence as she tries to like dash dot hash and tries to like write it out, listening to it. It's a lot. And she tells you that. She said, this is not just a simple transmission. She's like, they're sending vast amounts of information. And what she does manage to, in this amount of time, like before she loses track, get written down, is that the signal is coming from the planet to this vessel. And at the top, it seems to be, like, as she kind of writes it out, it seems to be identifier codes for research. They may be using this as a research facility.
Okay.
Who you don't know, you have speculation. But it seems that this is all, it's all research notes.
All right. All right. Is that all she wrote?
Yeah, you can tell she gets lost, and she's like, "I'm sorry, I'll have to listen to it again. It's been years since I've used Morse code."
It's all right. I don't get any of that, so.
She's like, "There's nothing like lines and dots to really get you going, you know."
I guess the next thing that I'll do, that Vince would do, is start researching the USS Legato and its originations.
One more comtech check, and we can see if you find anything out about the Legato.
Oakley dokley.
While she continues to try to listen through the Morse code and catch out more of it.
What does that say? 1. Okay.
You don't find a whole lot, but what the name, the USS Legato, keeps running through your mind. With only a single success, you're assured you have seen this name before, but it's like lost to you, and you struggle to think about it. After about 30 minutes of her dots and dashing, and you trying to run comcheck and find anything you can on the Legato, you remember where you saw it. You saw it in the notes on the USS Sulco.
Which remind me the context of the Sulco.
The Sulco information came to you via Amanda Ripley's personal files.
Hmm. Okay. I pull up the Sulco's files just to remember that what had happened to it.
The Sulco files, basically what you managed to find were, or that she knows, it was a troop transport vessel that was issued by the United States Colonial Marine Corps to investigate Hadley's Hope. It was sent here to investigate Hadley's Hope, and it went dark and was never seen or heard from again. And on board the USS Sulco was Amanda Ripley. I mean, was not Amanda Ripley, the original Ripley. And other Ripley. Mama
Ellen?
Ripley.
I can't remember.
Thank you.
Ellen.
Thank you.
Ellen.
Yeah,
Ellen
there we
Ripley.
go. There we
I
go.
could not remember her name. Mama Ripley. Ellen Ripley was on board. She was actually considered a civilian at this time, and was Amanda's files talk about her mother and kind of what happened before, right? And the tracking down she did, and what you can tell is before she landed on Fiornia 161 in Cryo, she escaped this mission, the USS Sulco, 50 years earlier. More than likely, Ridley and escaped the Hadley's Hope incident via the USS Sulco, and this other vessel had contact with the USS Sulco. They have they come up in the notes of the last time the USS Sulco was seen.
All right. It's all got alien written all over it.
One ship passes another ship with an alien. Now you get an infestation. So yeah, that's the vibe that you kind of get.
All right. But in these Morse code signals are actively coming from the planet. This isn't like something that is on a loop like that distress signal was. This is active. Okay.
It seems to be like dated file number.
Sure.
Like that's what she's like slowly writing out in the Morse code. That there is some kind of research information being sent from one point on the planet to another, which is interesting because LV 426 is supposed to be a dead planet. There's not supposed to be any activity on that moon whatsoever.
Wow. Okay.
Especially after the Hadley's Hope incident. The last thing is that colony going dark, and this whole sector is technically off limits. You're not even supposed to be here. But that planet in particular has been blacklisted as a place that cannot be visited. You're not supposed to.
All right. I eagerly look down to what we are currently orbiting in the hopes that, in fact, if I can, I'll extend a comm out to Kitchens and Rin and say, can I?
Sure
I
can.
say, hey, how's it going down there?
This
what's
comes
going on?
through just as you have sent the message over to the lieutenant to light her up.
Hang tight, Vince. We're dealing with something. We're okay.
Okay.
Does it work?
Great
with bated
question.
breath.
He's like dying over here.
Yes, it does work, and I'm going to use a darkness point. Yes, it does work. You can see flames like out of the back of the ship and down through the like thrusters as it heats the earth underneath. As it does, immediately, the way when you put vibrations in the earth and earthworms like come out, that is what happens, except it's these 4-foot like snake-like critters, and they crawl all over the ground as they try to get away from the heat. As they do, they climb up the vessel, and they start to cover it from the top instead of holding it from the bottom.
Take flight. Take flight. Take flight immediately.
She is going to have to pilot this because nobody else is in even close
Nice.
That was a lucky roll for her.
Wow.
She comes through comms, and you simply hear her say,
Taking fight. We're taking fight. They're trying to come through the windshield.
as you can hear the panic, and you see them just swarming the outside of the ship as it starts to take flight. They are beneath you, so I imagine you get out of the way.
Yes, and I just tell her to take elevation, and they should let go. Like theoretically, the
Yes.
idea is that they'll let go.
Yes, I definitely meant corruption bar. Sorry. So yeah, a little corruption. Let us see if they let go. Because they might not. Do they even have... Okay. This sucks for them. I'm so sorry. Okay, they do hang on. A lot of them fall off as she takes flight and tries to enter atmosphere. But one of them does... But a lot of them do hang on. Since I'm at it, and I'm really on a roll,
Oh,
I'm
no.
just gonna pull up some actions. They're gonna take actions against the vessel. This is kind of weird, but a 6. You see the few that hang on. One of the larger ones lets out like a strange noise, which you actually can hear because you're in atmosphere. As it kind of roars back, it's probably 5 feet long, and as it lets out this sound, the smaller ones begin to attack it, and as they eat into it, acidic blood pours out all over the top of the vessel, and it begins to eat through the hull. She comes through comms, and you can hear her screaming and the sounds of gunfire as the only guy that can still fire, the Staff Sergeant Adams Simborski, decides to try to shoot and kill some of them. This is bad for them.
Question, real quick. Like, as we're coming up with them, I don't recall how what is the door situation for our ship? Is it like if I open the door, am I able to like look out and not fall out of it, or is it like...
Yeah, I imagine for this there is in the floor. Well, there would be a side hatch that opens up, right? That swings up like a DeLorean. And then there would probably be, because this is a smaller one, a floor hatch that could open up so you could like drop a rope down or look down or pull something up. Those would be your two like entrance and exits.
Okay, so here's what I want to do. Don't know how I'm going to do it, but Rin's plan is to get the ship above where the hull's now compromised and use her rifle to take out the creatures while Kitchens extends whatever cargo nets or whatever we have that's long enough to have them climb up. That is my plan. Don't know if it's gonna work, but there you go.
Great. Okay, so I'm gonna have you make a... First off, we're gonna say bye to Zach.
Yes.
Zach has to go a little early, everybody. Bye, Zach.
Take it easy, buddy.
Bye, everyone.
We'll see you next... Well, no, not next
Yes.
week. Week after. Oh, no,
Okay.
next week. We're right. You're right. I'm not
All
camping
right.
yet. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're right. Yep.
Yeah, we'll
See you
figure it
next
out.
week.
All right.
Bye, friend.
Good luck, everyone. Farewell.
Bye, buddy.
Okay.
That might have messed with
Might
the
have
cameras.
botched cameras, but that's okay. So, make a ranged attack. Kitchens. I will give you a mobility check to like move quickly to drop a line or something like that. Oh, that came back in because he's the sweetest. Oh, Mike came in because he's the sweetest.
Can I use the attack from the rifle that I'm using, like the little attack button? Will that work?
Yes, it should, as long as you put the stats in.
Yeah, I did.
It should.
Oh, 4.
Ooh, that was a very, very good roll. That is a success. They have an armor rating of 2. So
Good thing I have armor piercing. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that means they still fail. It doesn't negate any of the full damage. So
Yeah.
the damage is 2. I'm gonna let you have hit 2 of these.
Okay.
Or 4 of these. I'm sorry, because you had 4. We'll do 3. So you hit 1. Actually, you can choose because you had so many successes. You do get an option of what the extra 3 do. I believe. There is a handout called Basics. Ranged combat, so you can do +1 damage, make the opponents make a panic roll, which doesn't really work. They can drop a held item, they can be prone or push back, or you can hit additional targets, each one of them. So you could, like, instead of hitting 1, you could hit 1 for each additional you did, so you could hit 4 total.
Yeah, my biggest preference is just to get as many of them away from the ship and or people inside the ship as I can. So if any of them can get like knocked out of the hole that they just made or something like that.
Yep, great. Okay, so you take out 4 of them basically.
Okay.
And as you do, their bodies go slinging, and you can see them like hit trees in the ground because this thing is taking flight.
Yes.
There is nobody piloting. So Kitchens, do you take over piloting?
Yes. Yeah, I will certainly try.
Okay.
I imagine I just hold the wheel at this point, or the what have you.
Autopilot.
There is, but again, you're trying to get over them, and they're trying to also leave. So it's you're gonna have to manually pilot up to a point.
Got it.
But Kitchens, you can drop the rope out. Right? You open the thing. There's now air pumping in.
Sure.
Let's get a pilot check from Kitchens.
You got it.
You can do it.
I got a success.
Ooh, okay. 1 success is all you needed as you try to get right over top of them. Here's what's going to go down. Unfortunately, the Lieutenant Colonel Mac Hanrahar was his name, is not going to be able. He's not going to be able to climb.
Yeah.
He becomes fast bait for them. The lieutenant, on the other hand, she's going to try to get the fudge out of here. Now, unfortunately, she takes 3 points of damage. Can she even?
I believe. Heart of the cards.
Oh, okay.
Can Rin say something to her since she used to be military? Like, I don't know if there's anything I can actually like. I have counselor, but that's for stress.
Let's see. Okay. So I have good and bad news.
Yeah. Okay.
Staff Sergeant Adam Szymborski takes off first, and you can hear him screaming. He stops shooting, and immediately is the first one up the rope. To his success, as you can see it's kind of burning through some of his gear, and he's like trying to drop it as he climbs the ladder. He does not take a lot of damage, but he is like screaming as he's climbing up the rope slowly. Maria, on the other hand, she also got 1. You can see the acid has burned away part of her face and her gear, and she's dropped everything as she's trying desperately to climb up the rope. And you can see these creatures are nipping at her back and forth and back and forth. Both of them have hold of the rope. They are climbing very slow. Staff Sergeant Adam Szymborski wants to get the hell out of there. He speeds up, but they are both on it. You could. Oh, and the plane crashes. There's an explosion as the plane goes down because nobody's piloting it. What do you do?
Are they clear of the creatures? Like the creatures aren't there anymore, right?
There are a couple of them like on the end of the rope trying to climb up behind them, right? Like move up it behind them. You could take another shot if you would like. There are 2 left.
Rin will deal with them. With 2 successes.
Yeah, that'll do. They're gonna roll against. You have armor piercing rounds, right?
Yes.
So it negates any armor that they have. It does 2 points of damage, and you phew. Do you want to take out both of them or do full damage on one?
Whatever one's highest.
I mean, it does 2 damage, so you're going to be able to take them both out. So you
Okay.
kind of ace shot the last two
Yeah.
at the bottom of the rope, and you can see the last bullet slices off the end just shy of the tip of Lieutenant Maria Casado's toes, as it was about to grab hold of her foot.
Okay.
She is dying.
Yeah.
And you can see her struggling. She is not able to climb the rope herself.
Is the other staff sergeant, has he made it up to the top yet?
He has.
Okay.
As he gets on board, he like pushes whoever's nearby out of the way, and he kind of runs over in a great deal of panic to the corner. And he's breathing. You can see his armor's kind of burned. He has blood all over him. He seems estranged and rather traumatized.
Okay. Rin is completely ignoring that. She throws her rifle off to the side and is now going to hang upside down to get to Maria.
I need a mobility check to hang. If you want to pull her up, it is a stamina check.
One and then the other?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
One's about your agility to be able to hang upside down without dropping out of the plane, and the other is to actually be able to pull her up.
See you later, bitches. One success on my
Okay. It gets a little wobbly as you kind of start to take flight. Kitchens is trying to get you out of there and out of the tree line.
Yep.
But you hang on. You only needed a success to not fall.
And then attempting to pull her up. Not my best at. Falls. I'm gonna try again. Stress.
Okay, yeah, take a stress, re-roll it. She's gonna try to help.
Come on, don't be stupid. Mother. It's fine. It's fine.
She panicked. Okay, she keeps it together.
I'm not able to pull her up, but am I holding her at least? Like
she reaches for your hand and it's bloody. Oh man, y'all, I have one more corruption bar.
Don't do it.
I think I have to.
Don't do it.
It is alien after all.
Yeah, don't do it.
Okay. So I'm going to use my last corruption bar. You reach for her and your hand grabs hers, but it is so slippery from the blood. And your hand begins to slip. And as you try to grab tighter and pull her up, the amount of damage done to her body from the acid completes. And you rip her arm clean from the socket. It is enough that she cannot hang on, and she screams out as she lets go and she falls down. As she falls towards the earth, a large creature, blacked, large wings, scoops her out of the sky.
Son of a bitch. Rin kind of shimmies back into the ship, pulls the rope, and closes the hatch to look behind her and see the chaos or tragedy, whatever is happening.
And it is just that. You can see he's like, he's holding himself. He has none of his weapons on him anymore. You can see that he's been bit a few times. Like they tried to get into his like armor or whatever commando stuff he was wearing. It's super duper torn. It's drenched in blood. And parts of the acid have eaten like clean through his boots.
Okay, Rin goes, opens up her side satchel, grabs a nap relief, basically just pops it in his mouth.
Yeah.
And then she sits down and starts taking his shoes off carefully. I'd like to use Counselor, which is a command skill to reduce the stress level of a character.
Yeah, okay. That will be helpful as he kind of takes it. He kind of struggles and says, no. And you try to help him kind of swallow this pill down. It's going to take a minute to take effect. What do you say to him?
So he's a staff sergeant, right?
Yes. He is a... Nope, that's the wrong character sheet. Yes, he is a staff sergeant. You're right. He is staff sergeant.
Okay.
And you can see it says Simborski on his name.
Yeah. Rin's gonna kind of just place her hand on his shoulder lightly to not startle him. Simborski, you're gonna be okay. I need you to look at me.
And he kind of looks around as if he makes eye contact with you. He might miss something else. You can make a manipulation or a command check.
Yeah. She's just gonna continue. Look at me. You're gonna be okay. You are living and breathing. You're gonna make it through, just like everything else. You understand me? And she's just gonna command.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see if I have any luck here.
Roll a panic.
And panic.
This is success. Okay, you keep it under control.
Okay.
When he makes eye contact with you, you know that kind of trauma. You know he's seen some shit, and not because he's seen military shit, because he saw something that he can't explain, and it brings that panic back up again. Yeah, and he kind of loses his stress. So he's not as stressed as he was. He is still damaged. You can see he's like, he's still bleeding and those kind of things, but his breath is slowing down. He's not panting quite as much, but that also means the drug is taking effect, which means he's not as in his senses.
Yep.
So do you think we'll be staying much longer? Or should I set us back to autopilot back to Vonstro?
I think we need to go back because this guy needs attention, and I don't know what happened to him as far as any injuries go. We don't have equipment here to deal with it.
Why don't we swap seats? This is kind of a specialty of mine.
Yeah. If you feel like he's not in critical condition, I think I might stay within sight of the ground at least.
I'm going to roll a medical aid.
Yeah, go ahead.
4 successes.
Most of this is acid damage to the flesh, right? So it's burns. You're going to need something a little bit more than what you have, unless you brought the surgical kit with you. But
no,
that is a very good roll. You're able to patch him up. You take off the gear very gently. You're able to stop the bleeding, and you can see that his left arm is heavily broken. That more than likely one of these creatures, your guess, constricted around it and crunched all of the bones in this whole arm, including his hands, his fingers. So you begin basic trauma care, including a stent and those kinds of things, to try to help him. The medicine is making it easier, but he will survive. You don't know if his mind will ever be the same, but his physical body will survive after some rest, food, and proper medical care.
He should make a full recovery. Not that anyone normally ever does, but based on what he's seen, I think that he should be okay. Sans a few superficial wounds.
And nightmares to last a lifetime, but... All right. When Rin kind of looks down through the windshield, does she see anything else after the explosion from the impact?
No, you see it go down and it burns.
Okay.
Nothing seems to bother it because it's on fire. Nothing really messes with it, which is probably pretty standard because you know that Xenos are kind of anti-flames.
Right. Ren will take the ship towards the direction of the ship that Kitchens was talking about, that he said there was life signals or something like that, life signs, at, just to go over and like get closer to see the region around that ship.
You as you kind of fly out of the valley,
Yeah.
you pass over that half of it to get an idea. You can see what he was talking about. It's not near as covered in growth. It definitely crash landed. You can see where the nose like hit soft dirt and has not moved since then. All of the doors on it remain closed. It's not open to the wilderness in any way. I can actually show you kind of what this vessel looks like. I'll copy this address. I'm going to drop it in chat for everybody, and then I'll drop it to my crew. It's kind of a brick of a vehicle because it's just a lugging craft.
Interesting.
So what you see is basically the back end of it has kind of partially broken. Another corruption. Has kind of partially broken. Thanks, everybody. And the nose is like very deep, kind of the way a train would hit dirt.
Yeah.
But all of the doors where you would load in stuff just like you would a train car, big kind of push doors, are all sealed tightly shut. And you can see that they haven't been opened because the growth grows up and around and over it a little bit. But the scanners do show that there are signs of life inside of it.
Are we able to transmit to them?
You can certainly try, but it seems that most of the electronics are down. There's no power on the vessel, at least from what you can tell from here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she'll try, but if there's nothing, no.
There's no radio response. It's been here roughly 20 years, so any backup generator is gone at this point, too.
Okay. Well, I know we need to get him back up for some proper medical, but I don't know what you would have expected to find here.
I just wanted to see more of this. I have to see more of this.
Have you seen enough?
I'm not sure, but I think I've seen enough for the moment.
Okay. So you're good with me going back up?
Yes.
Okay.
And off you go. The staff sergeant takes a very quick nap, especially after the pain is kind of relieved. Very quickly. It takes y'all 10-15 minutes to get back to where you came from. And as you dock, Barden, do you greet them? What have you been up to?
I mean, unless Barden was alerted to anything going on, which doesn't sound like Vince did, he would have continued doing what he was doing. And fully expecting it to be like a flyover. He also doesn't really see a reason to, like, so unless they radio in and say, hey, we have like a body with us, he wouldn't come to the door expecting it to be like a whoop, swoop, and then come back home. A super innocent mission. Clearly not what happened.
Not at all.
But if there's like commotion when they dock, he'll come out and check out what the hell's going on.
Kitchens, do you take him to med?
Immediately.
Do you isolate him?
I think it's probably for the best. I also want to grab some blood samples just to see if there's any kind of virus or infection or anything like that I might be able to treat.
Yeah.
What do we got here? What happened?
Ren can run you down. This is he needs.
He looks like it.
Can I at least wash my hands? She's got like just tons of blood all over her arms. You can walk with me, talk, it's fine, but and she kind of starts to go over all of the events of what unfolded. The crazy monster jumping out of the ocean and the flying things and the
I told you about that.
swarm of creepy things trying to kill and get through the hole and that whole deal. She leaves out the bit about ripping the arm off of a woman trying to save her. But
Why?
yeah. and then
Yeah.
talks a little bit about the scan and that they saw something moving inside of the life forms inside of the abandoned ship that was crashed for like 20 years or whatever. So
I'm pretty sure the entire planet wants to kill us.
I'm pretty sure that entire planet is a weapon, just weapons and weapons and weapons upon it.
Yeah.
I honestly, that station has everything to do with whatever's going on down there. And if they didn't start it, they're definitely doing something with it.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. I fully believe that Bishop is over there, and this is like a whole scenario over here. And now you can see why earlier in our escapades, I was all about nuking things from orbit, because this is what you get when you do not nuke them. You get an overgrown planet of killing monster machines that eat your blood.
But this has been here for a long time.
Yeah, but the everything else around the growth and all, that's only 100 years.
How long ago was the Space Beast ran?
Do we know that, Dot?
Yeah, when it was written.
Yeah.
Yes, it is on your timeline. Let me.
Oh, that's
find
right. It is.
This is why I put this together, so I didn't have to know. Yes, the Space Beast was transmitted through the colonies and then redacted in 2180. That was about 13 years ago.
So just think about this for a second. Less than 20 years ago, before probably that ship crashed, somebody encountered what we encountered. But those have been there for how long?
Yeah, like
100
years.
Been around for longer than we could have possibly imagined, which means that there could be any number of places just like this out there.
Right. But what we haven't seen in 100 years of evolution on this planet, if we use this as like an experiment, right, is space travel. They haven't developed a machine intelligence. Therefore, if we destroy the planet, they die. They keep going places because people like us keep fucking flying in and taking bodies and pieces and eggs and corpses back to other places, and then fucking aliens explode out of their chest and they're like, oh no. And then the aliens wreak havoc and impregnate an entire space station, and then now you have 2 planets, and then 4 planets, and 8 planets, and 16 planets, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
We don't know how many places are infested.
I know, that's the problem.
So this one planet, even if we had a planet destroying anything, weapon, it wouldn't matter because there's how many more of them? We don't know.
It does matter, because you have people like Bishop and people like Weyland-Yutani and people like the United Americas who see this as a potential weapon to use against their enemies. So then they swoop in and steal some shit and then bring it to a whole nother planet. If you take out this, I know there's countless other ones, right? I'm not disagreeing with you, but this is like a hub, and they keep coming in and scooping up little pieces of alien, and they keep bringing it and expanding exponentially out into the galaxy. There's so many other planets because people keep finding these ones, like David.
Then we need to get on that station, take all the research that they have, and then destroy everything.
Yeah, right. Makes sense.
I mean, we need to know what they know. Maybe they have locations of other places like this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. They probably have a lot of guns, like a lot of guns, though. Just a thought.
I mean,
I have 2.
I have 2 as well. In
Right.
a ship.
Great.
There's got to be a way for us to intercept. They've got to be getting supplies at some point, right? Maybe we can have Ace look at cargo logs or something that's coming into this area, and we can stealthily hitch a ride. I don't know, but we need to figure out what the hell's going on, because those people just died down there again for no reason. And I'm tired of it. Barton, I'm just tired of people dying for no reason.
Yeah. I have some sympathy for you, but unfortunately, these are alien killing machines that are designed to only do murder. So as long as they exist, apart from the fact that people just do trash, we just murder each other all the time. Now you have space aliens that just fucking rip through you like a tissue paper. But I agree. We should probably stealth in there, root around some shit, unleash that ace kid. She'll fucking do some things with that computer there and find all kinds of boops and beeps. And then, we can, I don't know. Send it out to everybody. Maybe we can start a riot, space riot. I don't know.
We just need to make sure people are informed, at least, that these things are out there, that they exist, and this is the only way you can protect yourself. Or at least that they would know their weaknesses. Fire.
Yeah. Catch-22 is, the more people that know about the aliens, maybe more people that go, you know what, I think I'd like an alien.
Keeping it secret's not helping anybody.
Well, it's only helping Wayland and Bishop. And
even they're not being helped. Everybody's killing each other for it.
Either way.
There's no progress being made. We're just, oh, God. Humans just suck. God.
It's a shit show. And we have the two of the oldest people in the galaxy trying to unfuck the situation.
I'm not that old. Why you gotta say it that way? I only got little wrinkles here and there, you know?
It's a compliment. You survived this long, right?
That's not a compliment.
You're champion. Fought off aliens in droves.
Or people just think that we're crazy when we talk about it, just like that guy who wrote the book.
Well.
They want to get us into custody.
I've been a little crazy my entire life. I'm kind of used to it.
I know.
Comes with the territory.
Kitchens. Medical examination shows he is not infected. To your surprise, these creatures that attacked them, though the acid damage seems to be the same, it seems they were carnivorous. They were trying to eat them.
They differ enough as a species. I had presumed that they weren't trying to supplant an egg of some sort.
They don't. Yeah, that does not seem to be the case. So he doesn't necessarily seem infected, though he is in need of desperate rest and was on a close verge of malnutrition and death. He sleeps soundly in isolation for a while. Is there anything you would like to do after assuring his comfortability?
Do we have the medical tech to repair his broken arm here? Was it on our vessel? I wasn't sure if we had that or not.
I'd say yes. You probably do. You would be able to cast it, splint it. It's still gonna have to heal. Like
I meant else. Like the one that like went into my internals and checked, because that could also repair a broken bone. I wasn't sure if we had that here or not.
Yeah, I think you do. Let's find out. The Monstro probably has a full get up.
That module thing, didn't we?
Yeah. Yep,
medical mod.
Have a med bay. It doesn't say that you took one of the reinforced frame galley land vehicle, but I bet a med bay comes with what you would need to be able to at least do that, to like reset his arm.
Yeah, then I will program. I'll ask the machine to reset the arm, wrap, stent, splint, or cast whatever it needs to maintain.
Yeah. So you kind of put him in, you close him down. He stays under kind of a basic anesthesia as the machine begins working, which is basically trying to reset the arm and fill in the broken bone pieces with basically 3D printed DNA, like biological fill for the bone.
Yeah.
It's probably what's is going down, and it's gonna take a few hours. You can see like the timer sets as the machine is doing its job.
Okay, then I'll just kind of watch. I think the last person that was in this machine was Kitchens, and he like His kitchen's I'm kind of pondering so much. Like I know that since we're not programmed to hurt people, they weren't. But inevitably, that's what David did. That being said, the Xeno wasn't programmed specifically to hurt people, but it does so with the utmost of efficiency. It's the absolute perfect weapon. And they were both made. So he's constantly on this I don't want to say it's a like a mental break as much as it's like he's failing to see the mental math that it came to these conclusions. Like, well, obviously the engineers, they made this the goo with the intention of eradicating a species, but were they aware of the secondary properties of that? Similarly, was Bishop aware that his creations with Wayland were going to develop some angle of free thought and capability on their own?
I will tell you to the latter, probably not. As most, but the research that you've done on the like black goo, right? The initial biological agent, you know that it adapts to whatever it touches. And that kind of level of adaptation built into genetic code tells you that the more they create them, the more there are, the smarter it's going to get, the more it's going to evolve, the faster it's going to evolve. You get the idea that, like, they didn't plan to use it. They planned to use it exactly like you saw it, as a biological agent to wipe everything out and build everything back up from scratch, right? It's the Great Flood.
Yeah.
Right? That is how they plan to use it. How it has been augmented and how it has been let loose to transition is still in question. Now, if you want, you can go dig David's head out of a box and try to tap into his memory scape and see what you can pull from deeper, like farther back, knowing what you know now.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I would like to I want to isolate and set this to a PC, a unit that isn't attached to Geppetto.
Yep.
And make sure that it has no means of escaping this.
Yeah. Do you want to run his memories like files, or do you want to try to reboot the head to communicate with it?
Is there a way that I can program the head to communicate in like IRC to where it just moves into like a chat forum so it doesn't actually speak? Because that's probably what I like to do, so I can pose questions.
You grab a closed circuit computer, which was probably provided to you by Station Alexandria, via ACE. It takes a second for it to like boot up. You watch the like green bar fill, and you start running the code, trying to dig back to earliest memories as possible. Memories are recorded like video for pretty much all androids. David was an early model. How far back do you want to go? Because you can, with a ComTech check, potentially tap into all of his memories from the very first one.
Is it feasible that I can allow him to respond back to me? Sort of like open up like basically a chat forum, essentially.
Yeah, it would be the computer, because again, his personality was developed by him over time. He's a very special David model. So you're not going to get his personality, but if you want a like direct code that's like ask question, find info, enter, it would respond back, yes, information.
Okay. So then I have no means of essentially like allowing him to physically respond back, even if it's in text form. Okay.
Right. This is basically just his hard drive.
Then I will cue back to the date of his arrival on that moon.
Roll a ComTech check.
Yeah. Tech. Okay, nothing happened. Let's try that again.
Yep, that definitely did not roll.
Four successes.
Very good. You know quite a lot. One, because you know the dates now that you think that they left originally. When kind of all this went down a little over roughly 100 years ago. So you're able to kind of backtrack. And you dig deep into the files. These are even before those that you've pulled to witness and talk through what happened to you and the emanation plan. This is even way before that. And you scroll back and you scroll back. And you think that you find the files dated the right date and pop them open to witness ongoing video footage, basically. First person through David's eyes. The first thing that you find is a video footage of them putting the original Wayland into cryosleep.
An old man, I'm guessing.
An old, very old, right? Very, very old. He's helped in by David himself. And David puts him kind of under. Before the next kind of file, big moment is there's a gathering. And you see Elizabeth Shaw at this kind of debriefing where she's showing the same images that you have pulled from the files that you have found of this kind of 5-star set, the team that is supposed to be going out on this journey to this system and to the star system that they believe to be this LV 223. Wayland Yutani's daughter is there in person as a representative, I guess, of her father along with David. And David stays relatively quiet through all of this. You fast forward a little bit more. Most of this over the next few years is footage of him on board the vessel. Taking care of them, so forth, so on. All right, ma'am, we don't need all your business. Sorry, my cat's being loud. And you finally arrive. You see the footage of the planet before it was re-terraformed. It does not look the same at all. There's video footage of these same worm-like creatures attacking, and you witness David do something in private, more than likely, but it got captured on his memory file, which is that he took some of this black goo from an urn. You'd seen it kind of, you've not seen the urn itself, but, oh, yes, you have. All the way back in season 1, you've seen the urn. You witness that he takes some of it and he seeds it into a glass that he hands off to the other man who is in charge of this mission. Elizabeth Shaw becomes pregnant very quickly, almost overnight. And David tries to get her to keep the child. She has an immediate and self-inflicted C-section using almost the same machine that you have this man under right now. Left behind is a much smaller version of the same kind of creature you think you saw on the last engineer. Kind of octopus-like tentacles, blood all over the interior. It's very clear that David caught the second portion of all of that. And then David finds one. Maybe you watch this memory all the way through, no fast forwarding. He finds an engineer. He finds their room where they went to sleep and whatever happened.
Are they referenced as that? Or are they referenced as engineers?
No.
Okay.
No. They do not call them that, or David does not call them that. He finds one that's awake. They wake Wayland Yutani, and you witness the scene where the last engineer steps out, massive, just as you saw the body. Strange kind of blue, pale skin. He immediately rips David's head from his body.
Wayland.
Before-
You mean Wayland?
No, he rips David's
Oh,
head
does he? Okay.
from his body. And the last memory before it goes blank for a period of time is actually kind of laid on its side, a view of Elizabeth Shaw trying to escape, the engineer killing off the rest of the team, and crushing Wayland Yutani
Oh.
before everything goes dark. The next file jumps a little bit, and it seems to be of Elizabeth Shaw. You can see her trying to boot David back up. She's like fixing his neck and his body. Around her neck hangs a gold cross, as she is very panicked and trying to get him up. She does, and they leave in another vessel. You see where they're headed, to a distant planet that has not been made known to you before. It seems that David has a plan. Elizabeth Shaw goes into cryosleep, and he changes the next location where they're headed. And you watch as you skim through these files, and he drops this deadly biological weapon from one of these ships that he took from LV-223 on the original engineer planet, killing their entire population. You can see it from above as it drops down, and you watch the biological agent ravage the entire population
Of these engineers. This is what David did.
He calls this planet Planet 4. You see, he lands the ship and makes plans to stay here and study the biological agent for a while, but not before killing Elizabeth Shaw and using her as the first seed to remake a facehugger. More than likely, his plan for emanation began on Planet 4, where he set down all those many years ago. And just when you think you're done, years pass. He's alone on this planet doing this research. Contact is made. The USS Covenant, on its way to Orgai 6, decides to stop early to scout Planet 4 to see if it is habitable, and it is. David tricks everyone. It takes the place of another David unit. Hand chop, you see it all. But most importantly, you see the first birth of his creature from a facehugger that he has been sitting on for years. And you watch him scream in pain as it is slaughtered in front of him. The man who killed it becomes first up for facehugger choice. And then you see him take the USS Covenant with 2 people in cryo, embryo, same embryo you've seen before, and a few hundred bodies in cryo on this ship as he takes the USS Covenant from Planet 4 and begins his many-year process of collecting David units, reprogramming them, and beginning the emanation plan. Takes you many, many hours to scroll through all of this footage. But hopefully the blank spots begin to fill in. Somewhere out there, there's another David unit that was left behind. Dead or not, you're unsure. On the research planet, Planet 4. Which was the original home of the engineers. Completely slaughtered by the original David.
I think as those hours pass by, Kitchens will probably power down the PC and out loud, he would say, what an incredible waste of time. And for what? Because your feelings were hurt. Oh. Should have had a Desta.
We see that PC monitor poof, out. You say this to nothing but a head that is plugged in from the bottom, kind of sitting on its side, right? Mouth kind of agape, undecaying, but full of information. As we're way over time and I have to end tonight's episode, should have made these 3-hour episodes. And I guess we'll be back next week for y'all to make some decisions about what your next step is and what you're gonna do.
It does sound that way. Well, friends, fucking, that was a show. Fucking, holy shit. Holy shit. That was a lot. A lot happened there. A lot of information, a lot of death, murders. Meta tore someone's arm off. On purpose. That being said,
that's not true.
I mean, Gravity tore it off. She just assisted.
Gravity and acid tore it off.
Tomato. That being said, that's it from us. Let's go around, do our introductions. We can get the hell out of here. We'll start with Meta. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what are you up to?
Hi. Here.
Perfect. Zach, we'll go to you. You can find me on Twitter at Midday Clay. Perfect. Bub, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I'm Bub. Just look for me as Bub Talks everywhere. You'll find me.
Yeah. Go check out the podcast, Pod by Night. It's super cool. He plays.
I let Dot handle it. She's way better at it.
I know. But I'm shouted out there. They're both creepy and violent. That's Dot's MO. Speaking, Dot, who are you? Where can we find you on the internet? What are you up to?
I am Little Red Dot. You can find me where Little Red Dots are found, mostly with Cobalt Press, but it's also true. You can find me with Pod by Night, which is mine and Bub's and some friends. We call it Pod by Night because they're really stories you want to listen to at night.
Yeah.
A little spoopy action right now. We're all about World of Darkness, so that might expand in the future. Yeah, we got new content coming out, new stuff coming down the pipeline, but there's all kinds of places that you can find me. But the good news is I'm right here on Wednesdays. It's trying to wrap up this chaos of a show, to see what the crew's gonna do.
You almost said shit show. You almost did it.
It's a shit show.
Show.
It is a shit show.
Yeah.
I will also add, if you can't get enough of Dot, you can come back tomorrow and see more of Dot. Dot will be here with the old crew of Void as we journey into Middle Earth for our new One Ring 2nd edition campaign called The Shattered Crown. Yeah, that's it. Come check that out tomorrow.
Wear a mustache.
Yeah, wear a mustache.
Everybody.
That's it. No after show today for all the patrons out there. Your boy's fucking tired. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, it's late. I went a little over. Zach's not with us. Sorry. But it was a huge lore dump. And I'll be updating. You know what? Here's for you, Patreon. I'll be updating the lore document.
Great. I will post the lore document on Patreon again. That being said, we love your faces. Thanks for your support. All your dealing with our bullshit. And thanks for showing up every week. We will see you next week for more of these shenanigans. So from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.